Welcome to a new object-oriented tutorial session. So this is chapter 7. We are still speaking about lists and tuples, and this is the second session. Previously we spoke about list processing and things similar to just introduction. Today we will speak about a deeper processing method where we use lists and files. So we have this a bit relatively long question. We will discuss it. The provided files, girl names _UK _2019.txt. This is a file and another file for boy names. So these two files list down the 20 most frequently used names during 2019 according to the independent. You may find different sources quoting different names. This is one of the sources. I just took these two files and created text files and saved them in my computer in the main directory of Python. So what we need to do is like this. Well, I'll upload these files so that you can use them. So these names are arranged in a descending order. That means the highest to the lowest. And what we need to do is we need to write a Python program to open these two files for reading, and then we transfer copies of these two files, each file separately, to a list. So we need to create two lists using these two files, and then these lists we can give girl names and boy names, these two lists, and then we need to create a menu program, like menu-driven program, where we will have different options. The first one for girl search, we would like to enter, or we would like to allow or prompt the user to enter a name to look for. Let's say, is it within the list or not? The same goes for boy, and then the third option for exiting the program. Otherwise, the program will keep giving us these many options, and the program will continue, until we stop it, until we exit the program. Once the choice is selected for a certain name, your program should report whether or not the name is on the list. If the name is on the list, then the program should provide its rank of use. What does it mean? While you enter a name, whatever the name is, if it is available in the list, tell me what rank it is. Is it the first one, the top? You can say 1, the second highest, the third highest, the last in the list. So it depends. We need to get that one. And finally, we need to include proper try except mechanism in your program. So we need to consider some sort of exception handler, along with some try that sends or throws the exception to exception handler to manage them. Well, let's go directly to Python and start writing the codes that we need to provide for this program. The first thing, we need to define a main method, a main function, not method. I keep saying method because I'm teaching also Java, and we use the name of method in this case. Or for Python, we call it a function. So in the main function, we need to define a few things. The first thing is, let me define choice, because I'm going to use it, and let me initialize it to 0. Let me define two lists. I can define a list of girl names, and it's an empty at the beginning, it has nothing. Name, boy names, and also empty at the beginning. Now we need to open two files for reading. So remember that we may try to open the file, however the file may not open due to some reason. Maybe the file is not available where we are trying to retrieve it or open it, or its name is wrong, etc. So we create a file, in file object. It's up to you. In file 1, we can give this reference or object a variable for object reference or file object reference. It's up to you to use any valid name for it. And remember that we are opening this file for reading. So by default, this would be R, referring to reading. And here we need to provide the file name. The file name is girl names, names, like this, names _ UK _ 2019.txt. Let me check if I typed it correct. Yeah. Okay. Then We need to do the same for boys. Let me copy this one so I save some time. Okay, need to change this object to, and here we need to change girl to boy because it's very similar, and the rest here is correct. All right, so we open these two files for reading. Now these files are ready. We have their object. How about if we transfer a copy of their content to our lists? So we have these two lists. We can use them to copy the contents of these two files separately, each one in one list. What can we do? We can do like this: girl names equals object file in file 1 dot read lines. That will allow us to read all the content of the file and transfer it to this list. We do the same for boy. Let me copy and just paste directly. That will save some time. And here we change the variable or the list name, boy, and here the object name also, we change it to 2. This is good. Right, so we got the information available in the file to do these two lists. Now remember, when we store data to files or information or whatever we store to files, we usually insert a new line by default. We shouldn't expect that names are attached to one another without any escape to a new line or jump to a new line. That means they are not stored on separate lines. So we assume that they are separate and they are stored on separate lines. And for this reason, what we need to do is we need to strip the escape sequence at the end, or the rear, or the right side of the string. These are strings. Names are strings. So we need to strip them from both lists. So what we can do, we can go for a loop. So for I in range, now look, I starts from 0, index 0, so the string indexed by 0 in both lists. We can start from 0 and we move until the end of the list. The end of the list is determined by length of the list's name. Pick up any, because both of them have 20 names. So if you use girl names or boy names, it's up to you. That will get you 20. So it will go up until 19 inclusively. Why? Because we start from 0 here, and we go 0, 1, 2, 3 until 19, size -1. This is the range function. We spoke about it before. Right. So what do? We strip the \n from each string inside the list. So in order for us to do that, we can say girl update. That means girl names update I starts from 0 until the end. So updated by what? By a new value, or a new object in this case, because it's a string. But after stripping the rear or the right side, strip \n or space escape sequence. Okay. We do the same for boys or boy names. Why? Because we have the same rhythm here. We need to change just this one to boy, and we need to change this one also to boy. Right, that's good for the time being. Okay. Now, next to that, what we need to do? Well, we got our list ready, so now we need to discuss something else. We need to start creating a menu. This menu is giving us options, different options. The first option is whether we need to search for a girl's name, the second option for a boy's name, the third option for quitting. We can use an integer value, and I have the reason to use integer value for the choice. I'll tell you in a while. So let's create an infinite loop that's motivated or driven by an input. So while choice is not equal to 3. Now you tell me, how do you know that this is infinite? For the time being, yes it is. Why? Because choice is 0. So I can change choice based on user entry. Right. So here in this loop, we need to get few things done. The first thing we need to do is we need to provide the menu to the user. So we need to print few things. since we speak about menu, that means we need to have some printing. Okay, I can use something like this just to display as a menu for the user. Okay, and then print. Also here, I tell the user what to enter actually. Here press or one girl, one, or maybe I can say press actually, it's more clear. Press 1 for girl, name search. Okay. And then I can copy this, I don't have to repeat just the whole process again and again. I do the same for boy. Press 2 for a boy. Name search. And finally, print. Press 3 to quit, or any num to continue. Okay, to continue, let's make it this way. I don't want to exceed this limit. I can increment it a little bit. So just for a better view of the outcome here of the menu. Cont is enough. Cont. Okay, cont. All right. I'll take this one. And we provide the same indentation. Make sure same indentation. Okay, sounds to me a nice menu view. Okay, so this menu can be used now. Once we got this menu, we need to get the choice. Why? The choice initially was set to 0, and that's not exactly what we want. We want the user entry, so we need to get this choice. So choice equals integer input, and then now we need to prompt the user what to enter, your choice. So we have already stated that you can use any of these choices, and in this case you will get to enter one of these 3 or anything else other than those. Okay. However, pay attention, if you enter a string, it cannot be converted to integer, and that will raise an exception because we have try. Your program will not halt, but it will not process the information. It will just give you some message. Later on we will discuss the exception at the end of the program. Okay. Now I got my choice. I have 3 possibilities. The first one is, or actually more properly 4 possibilities. The first one is is number 1 for girl search, 2 for boy search, 3 for quitting the program or exiting the program, and anything else other than these 3 is just for it would be a wrong choice, like something not possible. So we can convert this one actually, but it doesn't matter. Here I got my choice, so I need to create rule base. That means I will check whether this choice is 1, 2, 3. Okay, if choice is equal to 1. So what I'm going to have is a girl search. So what kind of a name? I need to get it from the user. So in this case, I will tell the user, I can create a variable name, input, enter, a girl name. In this case, I have to make this one triple single quotes. That will help me to add this apostrophe. And here also the same. Here also the same for girl's name. Enter a girl's name to look up, maybe. Well, not look up actually. To check, maybe, to check. That's, I think, more formal. Okay. Once we got the name, then what we need to do, we need to check whether it's available on the list or not. We have a very useful function to do that to do this process for us. Name. Oh, again we need another rule based. If name in girl name, then what? So this will allow us to check whether this name is available in girl name or not. It will return true if it is available. So in this case, what we are going to do is, if it is true, then we will do like this: print name is available at rank. What do we mean by this? Rank is where exactly it is. The first one, the top list, the second, third, etc. So in order for us to do that, what we can do is we can insert another variable. So how can I get the index of an element or an item? We have a function or a method to do this for us. Girl name. How about I go to a new line? Better, I think. Yeah, that's much better. I guess, because we need some space. Sorry. Yeah, we need some space. Girl name dot index. Index of what? This element. The name that we enter. This element, if it is available. All right. But remember that indexing start from 0, so we don't say rank 0, we say rank 1, 2, 3. Well, then we can add 1 to it. Else, well, if it is not available, if it's not, this is not true, by the way, it's here, else is here. If it is not true, then else we say if it's not available. Name is not on the list. On the list. Okay. We do the same for boy name, or we can take a copy of all of this, just make sure about the indentation of the code. That means follow up the scope of each of those. So choice should be changed to 2 because 1 belongs to girl name. Then we enter boy's name to check. Then we need to check it in boys list, and we need to get the boy's rank. The boy name is rank. The same thing goes here. We don't need to change anything. Just girl to boy, and that's it. Then after this part, well, if here actually I should use else if. Yes, because we used if the beginning, so else if, then we can use else if choice. Let's say choice is equal to 3. Well, what should we do? Actually, we shouldn't do much. Since it is 3, what we need to do is just carrying on. So I can just put a printing statement like this. Quitting, not carrying on. So I can put a statement like this. The program is terminated. 3 is terminating actually the program. Otherwise, if it is not, if it's neither of these, then what do we need to do? Actually, we don't need to do anything. We can get 1, 2, 3, or maybe any other digit. However, other digits will be a wrong choice or wrong entry. Maybe we can just say here, wrong entry. Try again. Okay. So we're done with this while, we're done with the if-else statement, and now what we need to do is getting out of the while statement totally, and then getting out of the try scope, and then now we create except. How many exceptions do we have? Let's go and check. Now, initially, file opening, maybe the file cannot open, the file doesn't exist, maybe. This is one exception. The use of some names, maybe name error, it could be an exception. Also, value error here, the choice, because we are entering a value from the user from the keyboard and it may not be integer, so value error. Some other exception here? I don't think so, because we are just looking into the array, so index error I think is not available. Yeah, it shouldn't be. So in the list, not array, sorry. So let's do this. File, not found, error, and I get the default message, okay, and I print it out. If you'd like to print your own message, you can do it. I would like just to print the default system message if there is any except or exception. Another exception, except value error could be because we may process a string as an integer and that's not possible in this case. We may have name error. Mistakenly, maybe I mistyped some name. Is possible. I'm not sure because I believe I didn't, but maybe I mistakenly mistyped some. I also write error here, display it. Now, last time I explained about else and finally, I'm not quite sure if you guys caught the idea while I was explaining the theoretical part. Now, what we are looking for here is exactly if none of these exceptions were raised or none of them is being raised. So what will happen? None of these exceptions will be handling any. So we'll not handle any exception. And what will happen is we can add else or finally as a new block that helps us to display something if none of the exceptions here or the handlers is being used. Okay. So we can display a statement, something like this. Thank you for using this program. And then maybe I can add another one, print goodbye. Just declarative statement, something like, you know, makes your program a bit more professional. Well, exit the whole scope of this, and we need to call the main so that we can run the program. Now, these are the exceptions that come to my mind. There may be other exceptions, however, for the time being, we don't have any other. So this is the basic idea. Let me try to save and run. It is not defined. Girl name. Okay, this is an exception. See, girl name is not defined. This is a name error. Well, where is it? Girl name, names, girl name. That means I used the of course. Girl names. Did I do it anywhere else? Well, of course. See this one? Well, this is a good thing. Look how this one is helping us. Girl name is not defined. Why? Because, as I said, I was not paying attention that I didn't write this S. So this is what was handled, and not value, name error. So this name error was handled as an exception, and it told us that you have a problem here. I hope we didn't do girl name names. Girl name names. Boy names. Oh, I went through all of them like that. That's not good. Let me just try to check all of them. Names. Okay, names. I think that's good. Yeah. Names. Okay. I think that's it. So let's try to rerun again. Okay. Seems that it's just fine. This is our menu. Press 1 for girl name search, press 2 for boy name search, press 3 to quit, or any none to continue. So let's go for 1 first. Enter girl's name to check. Well, I had a look at the list. I can enter Emily, it's available. Olivia, some of the names. Emily is available at rank 10. Let's enter another, totally other name. Let me just zoom a little bit so that you guys can see. Let's try again, girl, but totally different name. Well, Olivia, I saw earlier. Well, that's the rank 1, the highest rank, so the most frequently used. Well, let's try 2. Check a name. Well, I'm not sure, I didn't check actually. Thomas, I saw, yeah, Thomas was highly used. One of them. So at rank 20, that means the last in the list. Let's try to put something like 5, which is not available on the menu. Alright, look at this. Wrong entry, try again. Well, let's put 3. This program is terminated. Thank you for using this program, goodbye. Now let's analyze here. This program is terminated, is available here. Choice 3. And now look, none of the exceptions were raised or had been raised when we run the program, else would be executed. So if none of those was used or was deployed by the program, then this one will be used. I hope you guys will benefit from this program, and see you in other sessions. Have a good time. Goodbye.